Former Attorney General Pam Bondi was just kicked out of the VIP lounge at Miami International Airport. Staff didn't recognize her, and what happened next stunned everyone. The entire terminal went silent, and it was all caught on camera. Pam stood calmly at the VIP lounge counter, but you could see the frustration in her eyes. The staff member behind the desk didn't bother looking up. He pointed her to the general seating area and said she wasn't in the system. She showed her credentials, politely asked him to check again, but he waved her off and told her to move. People nearby looked uncomfortable. They recognized something wasn't right. What they didn't know was that this wasn't just any passenger. This was Pam Bondi, Florida's former Attorney General, and her husband was minutes away from landing. Pam had spent her entire career demanding fairness and standing up for others. Today, she just wanted a quiet trip to the Bahamas with her husband, Bradley. Instead, she found herself humiliated in public. Derek Martinez, the staff member who dismissed her, had no idea who she was. He barely glanced at her membership ID before waving her away. Pam didn't cause a scene. She quietly stepped aside, pulled out her phone, and texted her husband, "Just a mix-up with lounge access. I'll wait for you here." 45 minutes later, the energy in the terminal changed. Airport security staff began whispering. A few recognized her face from the news. One officer leaned to another. "Isn't that Pam Bondi?" Her colleague nodded. "Yeah," and Derek kicked her out. Word reached Derek's supervisor, Sandra. She checked the membership list. There it was, Pam Bondi, platinum tier, first-class ticket. Derek had made a serious mistake. Sandra called Derek over. Another employee, Maria, was sent to apologize and invite Pam back. But it was too late. Bradley Bondi had arrived. He walked through the terminal in a sharp suit, calm but focused. TSA agents nodded at him as he passed. He wasn't just Pam's husband. He was a former high-ranking federal official, a major name in Washington. He found Pam sitting quietly by gate 32, surrounded by her luggage, nowhere near the VIP lounge she was entitled to. He asked gently, "What happened?" She shrugged it off. "Just a mix-up." Bradley turned toward the lounge. Derek was standing at the entrance, nervous. Bradley walked over. The lounge fell quiet. "Can I help you, sir?" Derek asked. Bradley looked him in the eye. "Yes, you can explain why my wife, a platinum member and former attorney general, was denied access and treated like she didn't matter." He pulled out his phone, showed Derek her membership, the confirmation email, the app screenshot. It was all there. The crowd watched silently. Derek stammered, "There must have been a misunderstanding." Bradley didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. His words hit harder because of how calm he was. "You didn't check properly, or worse, you did, and chose to ignore it." Sandra stepped in with an apology. "Mr. and Mrs. Bondi, please accept our deepest regrets. We'd like to welcome you back to the lounge." But Bradley said no. "This isn't about lounge access anymore. It's about respect." People started filming. Word was spreading fast. Dozens of phones recorded as the story unfolded in real time. Bradley asked for the security footage. Sandra hesitated. He interrupted. "I've already contacted airport security. Michael Ramos is on his way." Moments later, Michael arrived, a senior security officer. He greeted the Bondis and asked Sandra to retrieve the footage. They moved to a private room and watched the video. It was undeniable. Derek had barely looked at Pam's ID. He'd rolled his eyes, shooed her away like she didn't matter. When the footage ended, the room went quiet. Bradley spoke calmly. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was disrespect. Thomas Wilson, the airline's customer service director, entered the room. "Mr. and Mrs. Bondi," he said, "I deeply apologize. This does not reflect our values. Derek is suspended effective immediately." Derek protested, but it was over. His badge was taken. HR would be in touch. Wilson offered free upgrades, luxury treatment, airport transfers. Pam finally spoke. This isn't about perks, it's about how you treat people. Bradley added, maybe train your staff to check credentials properly, not just recognize faces. Wilson was taken aback, then nodded. That's a good idea. We'd love your input. Pam agreed. I've worked on this in my consulting. Let's talk. Meanwhile, outside the office, the videos were going viral. Bondi Airport Showdown was trending. News outlets ran headlines like former AG disrespected at Miami Airport and power couple turns humiliation into reform. But the real story wasn't just about VIP access. It was about what happens when people with authority treat others with indifference, and how quickly things can change when the wrong person gets disrespected. By the time the Bondis boarded their flight, the airline was in damage control mode, and a moment of quiet humiliation had become a national lesson in accountability.